I had no clue about this. This is a totally different world for me.
I mean, I knew I'd heard of Blizzard, obviously, from World of Warcraft and Diablo and everything, so I knew that this was a big deal. I just had no idea how much the world would pick it up and go running with it.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of video games, and none of them has ever become what this game has become.
It's a new family that I've been brought into, and I feel really happy to be a part of it.
So prepare yourself.
It's very much about every person realizing their role as a hero in a group of heroes. It challenges the individual to ask the question of what could that world be? Don't accept it for what it is. Be actually a hero in that world and making change.
You just got to head for the kills. Now we have a series.
Diversity and inclusion really are one of the core pillars of what Overwatch is.
People all over the world feel connected to at least one character. I think that's part of what's brought the universe to love this game.
Overwatch community is about joy and about love. They are sharing their hearts with us.
I find it all quite fascinating, and I'm quite, well, it's an honor and a pleasure to play a part.
Welcome to my reality.
Rocket jump. That sounds dangerous.
Guarrimos with
So many targets, so little time.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Conflict and war is the crucible through which we evolve. Hammer down!
We're part of a team with the writers, the designers, the musicians, the programmers, the directors. That's what Overwatch is. It's about team.
Overwatch is a team-based game about heroes. It's an action shooter. It's very much about every person realizing their role as a hero in a group of heroes. And you're playing a bunch of different modes, everything from assault to control to hybrid maps to escorts to elimination, all these different game modes. It challenges the individual to ask the question of what could that world be? Don't accept it for what it is. Be actually a hero in that world and making change. So there's this overarching story, a narrative in the game world about the interactions between this group of Omnics. Omnics are robots, essentially, that have risen up earlier in the history of the game and once threatened the entire planet, but for this group of heroes that were put together by the UN known as Overwatch. And Overwatch, with this group of heroes, they managed to successfully escape from that crisis. But over the course of time, Overwatch was disbanded. And now we're in a situation where those heroes are being called once again by one of their former teammates, Winston, to rejoin Overwatch.
Are you with me?
Reinhard is this massive German tank. He is the shield and possibly the heart of the team. He's an older man, he's in his 60s or 70s, and he has a very joyful spirit to him because he came from a kind of a sad, tragic past. He's a bit of Quixote, if you will, because he's a knight, but he could be a little crazy, but it's all about honor, justice, and glory. That's right.
Pharah is like the Captain America of the game. Pharah grew up in Overwatch and then really wanted to come back to it and wanted to prove herself to her mother. She is an offensive player and she's great. She's very righteous. She's very strong. She's not very funny all the time. She's cool. She's good.
Symmetra has a really intriguing story to me. She was basically plucked out of the slums of Hyderabad, and where she lived as a child, and was taken by the Vishkar Corporation, who are an organization that have a questionable set of morals, which we discover later on through the lore of the game. But they found a particular talent in her. They realized that she had a particular talent for the technology that they were using, which is light bending technology and hard light technology. And she was able to use her knowledge of classical Indian dance to combine it with the hard light technology to be better at it than almost anyone else at Vishkar. She wants there to be a better world. She wants so much for children all over the world to have a better world than she had growing up, and she believes that this is what she's doing. But then through the mission that they send her on, she starts to have her doubts about whether or not this is the right company to be aligning herself with. And then we watch as it ensues.
So Widowmaker is a sniper. She is on the Talon team, and she is just this very cold-blooded assassin, and she is an extremely talented sniper.
Anna is one of the healers in the group. She has two parts of her character. One that's really strong and militant and like the mother of the militant groups. And the other part who is really the soft side of being a mother and raising someone, but at the same time, like you educate them and it's not all like spoiling mother in that sense. Which is pretty much like me, sort of.
Sombra is a really interesting character. She had a really tough upbringing as a child. She grew up in a kind of fictitious version of Mexico where a lot of children and women were being killed. And so when she decides to rise from these ashes, she kind of transforms into what she is now, which is a hardcore badass hacker. I think that Sombra is incredibly smart and strong, and she needed to become this in order to survive and also just to continue in this new life she has.
Doomfist, he comes from a very wealthy family. There's a fictional country called Mbani, which is kind of West Central Africa-ish. And this is where Doomfist is from. And his family owns a prosthetic cyber company. And so they're making like the most cutting edge augmented body parts that money can buy. And during the war with the Omnics, he lost his arm. And so he got the cutting edge prosthetic arm. And then before long, he was arrested by Overwatch and jailed, but then later Talon broke him out and he got the gauntlet and became Doomfist, the leader of the Talon organization, secret society, however you want to call it.
Overwatch benefits tremendously from a very broad acceptance. There's such a range of players, not just in terms of their attributes, but also in terms of their level of skill when they play the game.
Because there's so many different types of roles and heroes that depending on what you want to do, you can kind of get a few of those heroes and get really good at them, whereas other people might like other types of play styles, and then they can also do that with a completely different set of heroes.
And a lot of times we focus on sort of what can we do through the narrative and the lore or the design of the characters to make it such that anybody can just jump in and play and understand what's going on.
So that's just like for everybody right off the bat. But then even within that, there's kind of like a good balance of both casual and competitive gameplay as well. Like you can get to group with your friends and have fun, but then once you start to continue to group with them and find other groups to play against or join into ranked, then you start to build that like competitive mindset. So you can kind of choose how far in that competitive mode you want to go, as opposed to if you want, you can just log in, group with your friends, play a couple casual games, and then log out at any time.
There is a more hardcore community that is very into the game and the jargon and knows all the technical things that you're going to hear about in an esports broadcast, because that's the best of the best. And then there's the people that like to play more with their friends and are into the story. And, you know, there's these different pockets that you can identify with. And we are trying to offer things for most of the communities that we can identify like that.
But also critically important to us was this competitive scene. We know that there are people who play these games to be the best Pharah, to be the best Tracer, to be the best of whatever, and they want to measure themselves. And so we had a lot of people on the team who were from a competitive gaming scene or were of that mind of, I want to measure myself and I want to understand where I rank relative to everybody else. And I want to have a team that I play with regularly and see how that goes. So there was a lot of expertise on the team around high skill play, competitive play in particular. And there have been people who had been fans of esports for a long time, other games that were out there. So that ethos infused the development as we went along, but we're really excited the level that it's been taken to with Overwatch World Cup and now with Overwatch League.
I've got you in my sights. I've got you in my sights.
The best thing about World Cup is that there is all this different talent from all over the world, and online you often don't get to see them play against each other because there's higher ping and it's hard to schedule everything with time zone differences. But that's what everybody wants to see, right? They know their country's best because they log in and play competitive and play with them, or they watch their streams, or they're somehow connected with their own regions, like best of the best. But you just don't know until you get everybody from all the countries and come together for one big event. So that's what makes the Overwatch World Cup awesome, and that's like what makes any time you can bring other people from other countries in, it's great.
I am on fire.
Yeah, I love the World Cup concept. As soon as I heard about that, I thought there was really something there because, as a relatively new game, not everyone's going to know the top players unless they're really into the scene, but you can rally behind your country or your favorite country or a country near you. And so that element, I think, has helped bring people together and a lot of rivalry, hopefully all in the spirit of good sportsmanship. But yeah, World Cup is something special, and a lot of folks have been tuning in and showing their pride. I can't wait for myself to go watch some of the quarterfinals this afternoon. I love that concept, and I think we'll see more of that.
Got you in my sights.
Rains from above.
All that excitement around just that, root for your own country is what makes the World Cup really awesome to watch.
I think even the more casual fans can appreciate just the highlight reel examples of best pieces of a tournament and the emotional elements when that great play was made or the team finally won, and just capturing the human side again. I guess it was over 6 years ago, but I had a friend that was working at Blizzard, and they needed some contract work. And so I signed up, and I was pretty new to being exposed to the games industry at that time. Yeah, so once I came in and started to get what Blizzard was and the people, I'd been reading some of the World of Warcraft books, which is funny. I read the books before I started playing the game. But the story, the creativity, and the people just were really capturing me, and I felt like I wanted to help Blizzard in any way that I could. I wanted to contribute there. So I went from contractor, and then a role opened up, and I applied, and They selected me and I was thrilled, over the moon. Yeah, so that was 6 years ago.
I got involved with the game through an audition, through my agent. I did not know it was called Overwatch. It was under a code name because that's the way games do. They keep everything private. There was a picture, a drawing of what he could look like, and 6 lines. 6 lines to show you the different tones of the character. Now, because it was a new title, I really didn't know the tone, and I did it very serious. They called my agent and went, "We love what he's doing, but this guy is the heart of the beer hall. So could we get a call back?" So I had the idea of taking those 6 lines and then writing more to make it a story, to make it a monologue, so that I could live the character for them. And I thought, I'm either going to get this role or they're going to say you didn't honor the writing. And thankfully, they loved what I did, because they said, you lifted the words from the page and you made him live and breathe. And that was how Reinhardt was born in my mind.
At the time, they were still using code names, so we didn't know much about the game. And honestly, since I've talked with the other voice actors, a lot of it has become blurry in terms of the timeline of when I actually saw what she looked like. I feel like that I saw her for the first time. I saw the artwork for the first time at my first recording session. But the audition itself was really intriguing because she had this little monologue that was all about how she believes that the world needs to be put into harmony and there's order from chaos, and that's what I do. I create order from chaos. And so she was so elegant and so smart that I was really intrigued by her.
In my first audition, I made it this very aggressive, kind of evil tinted character. And months went by. I submitted it. You do lots of auditions when you're a voice actor. So I sent in the auditions. About, maybe 6 months later, I get a call that I've been cast in some game called Overwatch, but I don't recognize the name Overwatch. And I'm cast as some character, but I don't know who this character is because the name has then changed. And so I went into the session and got on the headphones and got on the mic and said, "Guys, I'm so sorry. I think you got the wrong Jen Cohn. I think it's the wrong voice actor. I think you made a mistake." And they all started laughing and they played back my audition for me and said, no, it's you. No, it's your job. And I wound up laughing and going on with it. And then we realized that she's actually this very good, well-meaning character. So we changed her tone. So that's when we found her voice.
One of my agents is friends with one of the producers of Blizzard. And this particular producer, Andrea, she saw my work in a show about a guy named Fela Kuti. Andrea happened to have seen that production years ago, and she had this idea like, what if Saw voiced Doomfist? At the time, I didn't know anything about Overwatch. I just got the call, like, here's something that might be interesting. Why not check it out? And I did, spoke with Andrea, and then, I got a script version, and I just started playing with some prototype versions of what it could be before I ever had a session. Then I sent that in to them, and they said, like, okay, yeah, we like where this is going. Yeah, let's record something. So that's how it started.
Blizzard contacted a company in London to help them with the voice casting. Apparently they've done some others, but they were looking for someone who has an accent that's not American or British. So, and I have a dubbing company, a localization company. So we were recommended to this English company by another Italian we work with. So we started doing voice tests. And when I read the brief, I said, oh, that's fine, but let's give others a chance, because let them do it. It's lest they think like there's like some corruption here. I'm the owner of the company and so on. And they said, well, the first round of casting got rejected. Would you do it? I said, I don't have time to go to the studio at the moment. So what I'm going to do is going to record it on my computer and send it as an MP3 file. And I said, that's fine. And then I got the role, which was, well, but not in my wildest dreams would I thought it would come to this.
So I joined the team later than most people on the team. And I've watched the growth of Overwatch as a phenomena from the initial release to where we are today. And I think I knew as soon as I played the game, as soon as it came out, I was like, this is something special. This is amazing. And I would love to be part of it.
When we had the first year that Overwatch was announced at BlizzCon, that was a pretty amazing moment. And that was a new franchise for Blizzard. I think they'd said it was the first new franchise in 17 years. And so it got the attention of a lot of people. And immediately, even just from announce and whatever material was on the websites at the time, you started to see channels form and communities form. And that was really incredible. We started coming out with stories about the heroes, and the players just built on that and ran with them, and it really hasn't slowed down much yet.
Last year at BlizzCon, that was my first time as an official guest. I came just as, as myself to several of them. But I was the second person out on the voiceover panel. Tracer went first, Cara Theobald. Then I came second. And again, I was tearing up because I went, the reaction that Cara got, people cheered and went nuts. And I went, the minute we step out that door onto that stage, it all changes. And in a way, we became the Beatles in some crazy, crazy, crazy way.
I've done a bunch of video games, and none of them has ever become what this game has become. So I was totally not prepared. I had no idea it would be this big. Did I ever imagine that I would end up at BlizzCon or at any con doing this? Never. So no, I didn't know. It's cool.
I had no idea. I don't even know if anyone really did. To me, it was just a gig. I got this gig, I got this audition, really cool character. I was really happy that I got it. But it's only after 6 months after the game actually came out. And when my Twitter account started going woof, I was like, oh, I think this game is going well.
And then boom. Once we started recording, they said, "Sir, you don't understand. This is big."
Did I think that it would be this big and it would be this sort of embraced and also used in so many different aspects, whether it's the fervor around the lore and people asking us for an animated film or this massive league that we're creating around it. I guess I had always hoped, but we are tremendously humbled on the team and always, every day, we have moments where we sit back and we go, God, this is amazing. And, we'll check in with the artists and go, can you imagine that this thing that you drew once 4 years ago is now an action figure or a statue or whatever? And it's really humbling.
We're part of a team with the writers, the designers, the musicians, the programmers, the directors. That's what Overwatch is. It's about team and it's about joy. And somehow I get to share in that. That's a good day.
Yeah, so we really prioritize the community at Blizzard, and you could even see it from Mike Morheim and opening ceremonies. When we're at meetings with him at the office, he's always bringing in feedback he's heard from the players, either that he's been reading online or that he's heard himself in person. So really, from the very top of our organization all the way through the ranks, we are always listening. We value player feedback tremendously, and it's a core value. It's part of how we work.
There's a new era of gaming, I think, that's been around for a while, which is you no longer, even 20 years ago, you no longer take something and just put it in a box and put it on a shelf, and then that's the last that you have to do with it. Now we're in this world where the game is constantly on and there's an evolution, and that is enhanced by a conversation between developers and the people who play the games. It is very much a critically important part of our day, not even just once a week or anything like that, but we're always looking at the forums, we're always looking at Reddit, we're aware of how people are playing, and we see it reflected in the behavior in the game. We know which characters players play, we know how a change has been received, we understand their behavior within the game itself. So in order to make that relationship functional and productive, We have dedicated staff that are working on that, whether it's our community team, our PR and marketing group is very, very involved in that level of communication. But the most effective way for us is for developers to be voices on electronic forums like the forums and the Reddits, but also at events like this. I mean, it's so much fun walking around at BlizzCon and talking to people and seeing what they've done. We get inspired by things that they say or even questions that they have at panels.
We have that common passion for the game and the world, the heroes that it's created, and we try to participate with them. I mean, I think as a Blizzard employee, you're also part of that fan club, you're part of that community, and so hopefully you're having an authentic relationship that's built. I do think in healthy relationships, you need to be listening, you need to be communicative, you need to show that you're hearing them and that you value them, and so we're always striving to do that. We think that's really important.
We just are all really excited to see the reactions from the community to what we've done, because we as fans of the work, and we're super excited and we think it's really fun. We can't wait to see how people react to it, the looks on their faces. One of my favorite moments was watching the crowd during the reveal of both the May cinematic and also of the Reinhardt cinematic. I've seen it so many times in so many different stages. I'm very familiar with it. I love watching it again, but almost more than that, I like watching the crowd and seeing people when they thought Snowbell was dead, seeing their faces, or when they see the moment where Reinhardt turns into the Reinhardt that they know. It's so rewarding for us to know that you're having that impact on somebody.
But then events like BlizzCon are also really special for us, and you'll have all of the dev team here. In fact, most of Blizzard that works in Irvine, I think we've got 2,500 employees that are all here, and they want to talk to players. So, this is the time to get that face-to-face feedback in, and hopefully positive and negative, but just want to hear from folks. And yeah, in person is great, and I think the devs for many months really look forward to opportunities like this.
Well, definitely like BlizzCon is the premier Blizzard event. Like everybody's looking forward to this, both players, fans, and Blizzard employees. Just everybody like comes together, and it's super awesome to see, because you find people that you already know either in person or online and meet them for the first time. You get to see everybody else get excited about like new heroes or new maps and features. The community as a whole is like why Blizzard games in general are so good, which is why I love them. And for Overwatch especially, it's sort of just that like community feel, like everybody has their own hero, everybody has their own clique, and everybody gets together, and it's like super friendly and accepting, and like I feel like that really does like go out into like just like your everyday communication with each other and everything. So yeah.
We've heard stories of, people who've been through cancer, and while they're recovering, all they do is play Overwatch. So they feel like a certain character saved them, or Overwatch saved them. And I met a woman who had been going through some serious postpartum depression, and her husband would take the baby and just say, just play Overwatch for a couple hours. And so she just felt that Mercy and Sombra like got her through this really depressing time. And that sounds crazy if you've never played the game, but when you're so invested and you become one with these characters, then you meet the voice actors, and that's where they just express so much love. And they bring us gifts, which I never want them to bring me gifts. I just want to be able to hug them and meet them and thank them for being fans, But I think that I didn't understand what an impact this game is making on a larger scale, not just entertainment and like, oh, video games. I have so many young Latinas that come up to me with their tiny little voices telling me that they love how Sombra, is inspiring them. And so then I just tell them, well, then, let your voice be heard, because that's what you're here to do, And so if our characters can inspire them in any way and help them believe in themselves, which I think is the biggest thing that, young people need to do nowadays, is believe in themselves and their art or their passion. And that's what we're doing as actors and these characters are doing. I think that just brings it all together in a really beautiful way. And that's been the most touching for me,
The Overwatch community has been so amazing. So through fan fiction, sometimes they'll take, the heroes or the universe and write their own fiction, which we love to see. There'll be things like the Diva character, where they came out with Gremlin Diva, and the creators of the game kind of gave a nod to that with their skin that came out. So I love things like that where the community actually inspires back to the dev. But there's so much phenomenal cosplay nowadays. And oh my gosh, I was at Gamescom and there's been recently another event out in Russia. And it is just amazing what we're seeing in terms of the cosplay audience. There's the professional players, of course, who just blow my mind, way above my level of skill. And yeah, there's lots of different pockets in the community. Some people love the story and they love the heroes. They love the comics that are coming out. Some want to play at the most competitive level they can. So people tend to find their niche in the game and in the universe. And it's really fun to see them express that passion to the public in ways that we can see too.
Pretty much, just kind of stumbled upon Overwatch. I was like, oh, I'll give this a try. I dig first-person shooters. And then just fell in love with the characters, the gameplay, the bright colors and everything. And yeah, it was just my kind of game.
At first, I was playing because my friends were telling me, "Hey, you should play May. She's cute, has glasses." So that was my initial reason to play. I had no idea what the game was about. But as I got more into the game, it's more than just like cool character designs. Like with the community, I actually got close to my boyfriend, and we started dating because we played Overwatch together. And I made actually a lot of my really close friends just because of the game. So it's kind of cool how like one game, like, people think, oh, if you play games at home, like you're introverted. No, actually it helped me make a new community of friends, which is really awesome.
I think what drew me to Mercy and Overwatch in general is I'm actually a nurse in real life here in the United States. And so Mercy being a healer and a researcher and a scientist, I just thought that was so cool and empowering. And I think what I loved about Overwatch the most was just the diversity in general, and that no one seems to care what you are. Even if you're a gorilla, you're a scientist, and that's, I think, so cool to me. And it's just such a family oriented game. And
Matt and Tara got me into Overwatch. They kind of forced me to buy it, so I was like, eh. And then I got it, and I was like, all right, well, it's my life for the next 3 years, I guess. And it has been. Diva is my favorite character. I just really relate to her. She's like around my age, and she plays a lot of video games. She's really sassy and angry, and I love that. So
I feel the appeal to Overwatch is a lot of the differences in it. So they're more realistic. Now, when I say realistic, I don't mean everyone can have the body of Widowmaker and everyone can have the body of Roadhog. But I mean more realistic as more relatable. While versus League, I feel like it's so fantasy. Well, we kind of get this human aspect of Overwatch characters for a lot of people to relate to, and I feel like that's that's something that people want. People want this realistic and diverse kind of competition and FPS. And I also feel like it's such a fun FPS. Yes, it's similar to TF2 and whatnot, but it has its own appeal and its own attractiveness to certain people that I feel like just kind of there's a reason it won Best Game of the Year last year. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's well done, and the community works with Blizzard, and they bring a lot of jokes and memes into the game too, which is really fun. And there's so much about it that I love.
When we were in Phoenix, actually, one of the things is that we had people approach us and start talking to us about the game, and that was the coolest thing ever. And total strangers would walk up and be like, "Oh my gosh, you love Overwatch too!" And we actually made a few friends because of Overwatch, and especially being at all these conventions where, especially BlizzCon, where everyone loves Overwatch, it's like you feel a part of this community, and people who have no idea who they are, different walks of life, they just come up to you and they just want to be friends, and they know that's something you like and they like, and something you can really bond over, which is so crazy.
It's a very positive event for everyone to get together, especially because it brings different cultures together.
Yes.
And you don't have to be for a certain culture, a certain race. You just bring everybody together, no matter who you are. It's a really good thing. So I enjoy this.
I had no clue about this. This is a totally different world for me. After understand for 2 years, I'm recording via Skype in a studio in Cairo. Oh, and everyone's saying, it's huge, and there's a fan club. And then I get letters, could you sign this? Or could you sing happy birthday to my girlfriend? Says, is this for real? It's I've never thought. And in the office, we have someone who's a complete video game freak. And he said, you have no idea. You have no idea what BlizzCon is. I said, okay, fine. I've seen the videos, but yeah, it's big. That is nothing like being here, actually, and meeting the other team, the other players. It's like in dubbing, like people when do a role, you never know what the others are. And then when you see the film all together, this is like, this is something else. This is the same here. You meet all the others who are doing the roles, and then you see how really the community, whether it Blizzard themselves, how they care about their characters, how professional they are, and then how they take care of the talents that are here, and then you see all the fans and find people waiting for 5 hours just to get a signature. It's like it's still overwhelming, and I tend to be a late reactor. I'm sure this is just still going to sink in.
This is a different level. It's a completely different sort of thing. And I'm still just scratching the surface now, just from last night and today, walking around and seeing what everybody's putting into it. But the bottom line is that it touches a very warm place in my heart to see people enjoying themselves and expressing their passions, and in such a cool way.
It's wildly humbling and gratifying, and I mean, we fall in love with them on a regular basis, individually and as a group, you know. They're so generous with their art, with their beings. They're so supportive. They're so kind. I'm amazed by the level of talent that they all show, and all of the things that they share with us, the stories they share with us. You know, I am constantly surprised by them, and they hold the bar really high for us all as people, because I feel like when there's a community that is giving that much and investing that much in a game and in the people who are involved in the game, it's incumbent upon us to meet that bar. You know, it's our job. We better be the people that they see us as. We better be that good. We better be that generous back, because they give so much. So much. And I love how excited they get about the game, because then we get excited about the game.
When I come to events like this one, everything kind of starts to make sense as to why we're doing this. And because most of the time we're just alone. I'm here, I have like the whole team I can hear them in my ears, but I can't really see them. I have this microphone and this list of lines, and I'm kind of on my own. And here we get to meet the people who receive it at the other end, see what it does to them, and it really affects, like the fans, the game is such a part of their lives. They play it for like hundreds of hours. They basically live with us and with our voices and our characters. And when like coming here, just seeing all the joy that comes out of it, it's so humbling. It's great.
At the beginning, I didn't quite understand it. I didn't grow up as a gamer. My cousin played Nintendo, so I sort of saw it growing up, but it wasn't something I did. So I wasn't quite sure why people loved this game so much and the characters. I just didn't understand the fandom. And I mean, of course, it's an incredible game, and now I get it all, but at the beginning, I wasn't sure what was happening, you know? And then I've just really appreciated the fan art so much. I feel like all these artists are so talented, and they want to express their love and their version of the characters. So I try and share as much fan art as I can. I love the cosplayers that dress up as Sombra. A lot of them have expressed admiration because they are Hispanic, and so they feel like for the first time they're being represented in a really positive way in a video game. And again, because I didn't play many video games, I wasn't sure if there were a lot of Latinos in games before. And now I really like knowing that Sombra is somebody they can look up to as a strong female, you know, character. And so I love being a part of it. I love saying that I feel proud to be her voice. And so I really, it's an honor to be part of Overwatch, and it's really awesome to be the first Latina superhero.
The Overwatch community is about joy and about love. They are sharing their hearts with us. I have never felt there. We did the Reinhardt animated short yesterday. I got to introduce it, which was an honor. And after the end of the day, I was running around doing a lot of things, and my wife said, okay, you can check Twitter now. And there were 300, 400 messages, not just little things, messages about how much they loved it, what Reinhardt meant to them. And I was tearing up because as an actor and as a person, that you can make someone feel that you can move them, that you can make them have a better day. You never expect that. It's a joy and a privilege to do it. So, I mean, that's what that community gave to me. I'm just a dum-dum with a crazy voice that hopes to entertain them. And somehow, I think I'm doing that.
When I started getting requests for interviews and for Funko Pop character signings and for voice messages, I was so blown away and so taken aback. And then to see people who put just hundreds of hours into cosplay costumes, that kind of energy into a character that I voice and that they are so invested in, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I'm so flattered, I'm so honored, I'm so grateful. I'm just taken aback and really grateful, and I really take it in. Like I drink it in. The energy has been just incredible.
Obviously, there's huge challenges with balancing a game that has to be something that 35 million people play, but we also have a group of 12 teams that play it competitively on a world stage, and they play it at a different level than you and I would play it. So we balance the game frequently for the live game. I think our cadence of patches that we've done over the past year, sometimes we're going, we'll patch on a Tuesday and then the very next patch is a Thursday, and that cadence is very intense. But it reflects our commitment to hearing what the community is saying about the competitive nature of the game and also about the relative attributes of all the different characters as we change them to match the play styles that players are utilizing. We're very aware of the impact of those changes on the competitive scene, so we try to make sure that we have a stable environment that's separate from the sort of where you and I play for the professionals to play on, to practice, learn those sets of attributes of those characters. And before we change that, we'll give them a lot of notice, and we'll make sure it's most likely not before a big competition so that we don't sort of unbalance things right before then.
I've got you in my sights. I love the smell of pulse munitions in the morning.
Double kill. 60 seconds. We still need you. Double. Watch over your minds Schutzengel ist da. Double. Triple.
So to get good at anything, hard work is like obviously the key, no matter whether it's sports, esports, like anything at all. But it's very similar, like esports is very similar to sports in that level of like, there's all the attitude adjustments that you need to make, and there's the teamwork aspect and the individual skill and all the work that goes in, time that goes into it. So you can definitely see, especially in these esports tournaments, who like does really well on stage and just keeps their cool versus who gets a little bit nervous and then starts making mistakes. So there's like a lot of those similarities, more than you might actually expect between sports and esports.
Australia, you're Crocodile Dundee!
So to become like a really good esports player, you have to find what you think that you're kind of naturally good at. And that might just be what you enjoy. And because if you enjoy it, then you can play it a lot and you can get really good at it because of that. And then you start getting better. You find other people to also help you improve. If you're just like beating up on other people who aren't taking it as seriously, it's really hard to get good. So you kind of surround yourself in a group of people that are also competitive. And so how I actually got into it was through my older siblings, because they've been gaming since before like I could even walk. So I was able to watch them, study them, see what they did. And then I was getting older and older. Like it was always a competition with family of like, who's going to be better than the next guy. And I had like a 5 or 6 year disadvantage. So I obviously got beat up on a lot and I was used to losing, which probably helped me kind of build that, like, it's okay to lose. I just got to improve and get better and better and better, which is also really important. Like mindset and attitude of just like, instead of taking losses really hard, just being able to go in there and like learn from it and get better. That's huge. And again, both sports and esports, and the players really need to have all of that.
I definitely think seeing esports and like competition-wise in video games rising is a great thing. It's giving people who don't have all the athletic ability, but that mental ability and that like quickness and agility to perform and to react and like really bring a business to playing video games, you know, having parents tell you, oh, like, don't play video games, it's not gonna take you anywhere in life. Well, it's not true anymore. You can make a lot of money and do very well for yourself.
Well, let's face it, none of us play games to lose. We all want to play games to win and points, and you know, the gamification of life is part of what has made it fun in the modern era. So the fact that it's an esport to me is awesome, not just because it adds an element of fun competition to the game, but also the fact that the folks that are competing in esports are not traditionally the same people who are on the football team. Traditionally, you know, there is some crossover. So for there to be an athletic place, for there to be a sports place for people who have found their niche here is just another example of how there's a place for everyone in the world that was created. I love it. I'm still amazed. Look, I'm so bad at the game. I feel like my grandmother every time I try to play. I'm like, I'm trying to walk. I'm trying to do things. So watching them play is like watching the Olympics. I'm super impressed by it.
I got this! Mercy's won! Left side, Mercy!
Chase the score, chase the score.
Stay point! This is it! Stay point! Let's go! Soldier! Mercy dead! Woo!
I've been making games for a very, very long time. It's something that I made a choice really early on in my life to kind of do something fun and technical and creative, and has a really good business behind it. One of the most satisfying parts of being part of Overwatch is this team. And the energy and the ethos and the values that they bring, it's like nothing I've ever experienced. There is a clarity of vision and a drive to always do what we think is right, and it's driven by a deep understanding of what the community and what the players want, and a connection and an awareness that we are that community as well.
Yeah, the values of inclusivity are important for Blizzard. And so I do think it even comes from our founders, you know, Mike Morheim and Frank Pierce and Alan Adham. Overwatch has just done some amazing work in that regard, and Jeff's spoken at several industry events. And yeah, Overwatch is a future Earth, so it's real world. It really gave us the opportunity where it's not seeing different races and creatures, but it's, you know, the chance to bring in humans and actual cultures that we have today.
It is very much a game about reflecting reality and sort of saying, hey, this is in this hopeful, optimistic, bright world, what could this world be? And we think that it's very important to include and have everyone feel as if Overwatch and the universe of Overwatch is a place where they can be, and they can be that hero. So we want to reflect the reality of the types of people that you interact with and all the different places that you could go, whether it is a global roster of heroes that may come from different places or people who may be different than you and I.
I mean, the world that they've created in and of itself is already wonderful. It's a positive light, and I think that we need that, especially in these times in the world. But I also think that because people all over the world feel connected to at least one character, I think that that's part of what's brought the universe to love this game. You know, we've met fans in Australia, in the Middle East, in South America, and I'm just in awe that there's fans everywhere because they do feel connected, and not just because of their ethnicity or their nationality. Sometimes it's just the personality that this character has, or certain strengths. It's like they see them in themselves, and they're all so diverse. Again, not just because of their nationality, but the different powers they have, or I don't know. It's really lovely to see that.
They have gone past the let's do one of everything, Noah's Ark mentality of representation. Because let's face it, there is a lot of difference in the world, and that's a lot of individual representation to do. So instead of specific representation of ethnicities, or okay, today we're going to do this particular group, they have created these characters that are multi-layered and not defined by any one characteristic. They're not defined by their race, they're not defined by their background, by their sexual orientation, by their size, by their species. One of them's a space monkey, it doesn't matter. It's who they are as a combination of all the things that make them up. And that's how we all are on the planet. And if we were to focus on the inclusivity of you're this unique person, and you're this unique person, and you're this unique person, and each of us have a particular superpower. In the game, everybody has a power that looks like proton torpedoes and all sorts of things, but in real life, that's kind of how we work too. Everyone has a superpower. It just could be kindness or generosity or music or floral arranging, whatever it is. They can use that for the powers of good.
I think the idea of everyone being represented and everyone working together, and the idea of not feeling xenophobia in a game is enormous. I think that it makes people comfortable with other cultures. I think that it's very easy, particularly if you're young, particularly if you're living somewhere where you don't get a lot of exposure, to suddenly feel a relationship with a character who's from a different culture than yours. It's special. It's special.
And so I think it's incredibly important, because the reason that we have superheroes, the reason that we have hero stories and mythology, is to inspire us to see that in ourselves, to see the hero in ourselves. And so we're not waiting for Superman to save the world. We want to be Superman. We're not waiting to see Symmetra and Mercy and everybody heal and help and fight and Sombra take out the lights. We're waiting to be those people. We want to be those people. So yeah, it's obviously, I think it's incredibly important. I think it's really empowering, and at this time in the state of the world, I think the fact that Blizzard has created a world worth fighting for, that's the world they created, is really, really important and awesome.
We've gotten so many letters and so many stories that we've been told about people who see something about a character and they go, oh, that's just like me. And it's so helpful to the team in inspiring them in thinking about how we continue to grow the universe, to hear those stories, to hear those elements of how what we've done and what the talented team of writers and designers have done to create this universe resonates so much with such a wide group out there in the world.
I'm touched and proud of those values, and I hope it extends beyond Overwatch, but it's also something that, Blizzard really tries to stand behind and emulate and promote. I think they're the right values, and I'm proud to be at Blizzard and proud to help with Overwatch. That's really manifesting a lot of that.
I will not waste this opportunity. Justice reigns from above. Double.
There's so many things about the future of Overwatch that are exciting. We have this massive base of people who play the current game, and there's a live game that we support and make sure that we're always bringing new things to every single month. Sometimes, like I said, we can be pushing new changes in on every couple of days. But that's really exciting, and we're really, we have a good plan and identified about how we're going to go about doing that. We also have this massive esports piece of the business that we understand only helps to enhance and bring the game to a wider group of people that will be able to interact with what Overwatch is from a purely fan perspective. There is also sort of at the core of what we do is this idea that Overwatch is not just a game, but it's a franchise. It is a universe. It's a space that people want to inhabit. And that's manifest in the comic books, in the cosplay and the animated shorts, the 2D pieces, all of that, we want to see that continue to expand. I love it here when I get to see people wearing jackets, or, you know, sometimes people will show me socks and they'll be like, I got my Pachimari socks on today or something like that. All of that is a representation of how much they love that universe, and we're excited to see all of those things continue to expand. So the Overwatch universe is getting bigger and bigger, and we're aware of exactly how hard that's going to be to maintain, but we're really up for the challenge.
I think Blizzard has a history of games that we've supported as the players. When the players are really engaged and they want to be participating and competing, you know, we deliver that. So I hope our history is proof that we will stand behind that and let the players lead in some respect. Yeah.
There has been nothing that's made me feel like a fan again so much as the individual moments where I see something that's been either created by our team or an extension of it by somebody who really loves what we do and then goes ahead and makes it. There are two standout moments, one of which I can't tell you about because it's not public yet, but I actually jumped out of my chair in a conference room and I grabbed somebody else and I was like, we have to do this. But the other one was the Doomfist 2D animation. I had always wanted to see these characters in that style, and I think it was Michael Chu's desk that when I knew that nobody knew what Doomfist was, nobody had seen him yet, and the way we were going to introduce him was through this animated sequence that looked like those cartoons I watched when I was like 8 years old, and I saw it and I was like, man, this is going to be for some kid out there. He's going to see that and he's going to be like, I want to do this.
Ever since I was a kid, I've loved hero stories, you know? And so to be a part of this, in addition to it being a game, which, you know, I've loved gaming when I was a kid and so came up with that in my heart. And in addition to it being something that represents people of all walks, like it's the first time in my life, selfishly, that my job and my life mission have completely lined up into one. And that's all thanks to Blizzard, because they've taken something that could be just a game and turned it into like a lifestyle.
One of the best pieces of advice that I ever heard was the American stage actress Cherry Jones says to students, whenever she speaks to students, that you should never confuse your success or lack of success in your career with your self-worth. And that resonated with me so strongly, only because I think it's so common, particularly when you're really shooting for the stars, which means you're going to get shot down all the time. It means you're just constantly going to get shot down. To remember that who you are and how good you are has nothing to do with whether or not you succeeded at that pass, like that particular run at something. And I feel like that relates to Overwatch in your gameplay, in the optimism of playing, of course. I think that if you can learn the lesson of continuing playing, and it doesn't matter if you got shut down or if your team lost or what, it doesn't, you keep going and you keep being optimistic and you keep trying, and it isn't a reflection of how you are or how good you are. It's just how this run at it went. I think that's an invaluable lesson to learn, however you learn it, whether you learn it from Cherry Jones or you learn it from playing Overwatch.